So this is a neck-mounted magnifying glass, and you can stand it on the table with the neck mount, kind of like a stand like this, but it seems like because the magnifying glass part pulls out of the neck mount, it has a little magnet to hold it in place, they should have included like a handle for this. So these are the 3D printed accessories I made for this magnifying glass. This guy here just turns it into a handle. This guy here has a 1/4x20 nut on the bottom, so you can screw it into a tripod or anything that would attach to a 1/4x20 stud. Basically it just attaches that and then adapts it to a 1/4x20. And in the printer it looks like this. As I was printing in ABS, I printed it with a brim to hold it down, so I need to remove that. A little bit of work with the deburring tool on the file gets me the base. Now, this magnifying glass fits in that slot, but it needs a piece of metal in the bottom. And so what I've done here is I've made a hole that's chamfered and kind of pre-drilled, if you will, in the plastic to have a steel screw that goes in there. You want to make sure you don't get stainless steel because the magnets don't stick to that very well. So I'm using a zinc-coated steel screw, and we just screw that into the hole. Alright, so the screw just fits at the very bottom down there, and then the magnet on the bottom of this guy goes and attaches to that screw, and once it's in, you can hold this guy upside down and it won't fall out. Now you can, still just pull it up, and so you can attach this back to the neck mounting point if you don't want to use the hand mounting point. Okay, so this is the tripod adapter out of the printer. I still have to remove the brim, and you can see here there's the hex slot where my 1/4x20 nut will go. And I'm using this for dual purpose. First of all, obviously you can put a 1/4x20 stud from a tripod or whatever to mount this guy, but also it is the piece of metal. So this is zinc-coated steel, which will allow on the inside that magnet from the magnifying glass little stick to snap to the top of this. Now, because I don't have a ceiling or a roof on this nut compartment, I've made the tolerances pretty darn tight. So you're not going to be able just to, set that in and have it drop in. You're going to have to kind of heat press this in. I recommend, putting it in with a soldering iron. You may be able to cold press it in if you have an arbor press or a vise. You can pinch that in, but it's really tight enough that you probably want to get the nut hot so that it will kind of melt itself into the plastic there. And you want to get this guy flush with the base here. So I've set that thing on top. I've already verified that my soldering iron will go into the nut here. And the nice thing about this going all the way through is I don't have to worry about getting plastic on my soldering iron as long as I hold it vertically. So it will take a while for the soldering iron to heat the nut up a lot because the nut has a decent amount of thermal mass, and this is not a super hot soldering iron. But I can start to feel it go in now. Now, it's pushing its way in, and now I just want to keep this guy nice and level and get it nice and flush like that. So you can see the nut's flush on the back there, and it is very close to the surface of the inside here for that magnet to snap onto it, but you still have the full depth of the nut for a stud to go into. So this guy screws on any 1/4x20 stud, and the mirror just slides into it, and the magnet will hold it even upside down. I wouldn't shake it over the Grand Canyon because it might come out if you shake it enough, but it's holding it in upside down, so you can position this where you'd like with like a swing arm or something.